The room was loud with the sound of boots on concrete and the low hum of fluorescent lights. In the center of the gym stood a man who had dominated combat sports across Eastern Europe. A Russian Sambo champion, decorated, feared, confident to the point of arrogance. He had thrown men twice his size onto the mat and broken reputations as easily as bones. When his eyes landed on the Filipino fighter standing quietly near the wall, he smirked. "That's him!" He laughed, not even lowering his voice. "He looks like a dancer, not a fighter." The Filipino said nothing. He was smaller, leaner, no entourage, no chest-thumping confidence, just taped hands, worn gloves, and eyes that had seen more real fights than most men in that room combined. He had flown thousands of miles, not to prove a point online, but to test himself against the best. The Russian continued joking about Filipino fighters, about Southeast Asia, about how Sambo crushed street styles. People laughed nervously. Some felt uncomfortable. Others recorded on their phones, sensing something was about to happen. The Filipino fighter stepped forward when his name was called. He bowed slightly, not in submission, but in respect. The Russian scoffed. The bell rang. At first, the Russian did exactly what champions do. He controlled the clinch. He pushed. He tested balance. Sambo was designed to dominate grappling exchanges, and for the first minute, it showed. The Filipino was thrown once, then twice. Each time, he got up calmly. No frustration, no anger. That calm unsettled the Russian. On the third engagement, something changed. The Filipino stopped retreating. His footwork shifted. Light, precise, almost invisible. When the Russian lunged for another throw, the Filipino didn't resist. He redirected. A subtle hip angle. A grip change learned not in a sports academy, but in countless real encounters where mistakes meant pain. The Russian hit the mat harder than expected. Laughter stopped. He got up fast, annoyed now. Pride wounded. He charged again, this time aggressively. That's when the Filipino countered, not with brute force, but timing. A sweep, a trap, a moment of stillness, then control. The room went silent. For the first time in years, the Russian champion was pinned, not by strength, but by technique he didn't recognize. His breathing changed, his confidence drained. He escaped eventually, but the damage was done. In the next exchange, the Filipino showed restraint. He didn't go for humiliation. He went for clarity. Clean movements, efficient transitions, no wasted motion. This wasn't luck. This was a system. The Russian slowed. His face showed confusion. Then respect. The bell rang again, ending the round, but nobody spoke. Phones were still recording. The story had already escaped the room. After the session, the Russian approached the Filipino. No cameras this time, no jokes. He extended his hand. "I was wrong," he said quietly. "I underestimated you." The Filipino smiled, not in victory, but understanding. Back home, clips of the encounter went viral. Commentators argued, experts analyzed. Some tried to downplay it. Others finally admitted the truth. Filipino fighters had been underestimated for decades, not because they lacked skill, but because they didn't shout about it. Filipino combat traditions were forged in survival, not sport, in adaptation, not ego. Influenced by boxing, grappling, knife defense, and real-world encounters, they evolved quietly while the world looked elsewhere. The Russian champion later spoke publicly. He admitted the fight changed how he viewed combat and humility. What shocked the world wasn't that the Filipino won. It was how calmly he did it. No trash talk, no celebration, just proof. And in that silent gym, far from headlines and hype, one of the toughest fighters on earth learned a lesson he would never forget. Never judge a fighter by where he comes from, because respect, once earned the hard way, lasts longer than any title.